Back in 2014, Formula One felt like a completely different world. If you were watching back then, you'll remember just how unstoppable Mercedes was when the turbo hybrid era began. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg didn't just win races, they destroyed the competition. It wasn't unusual to see them cross the finish line more than 20 seconds ahead of the nearest rival. At the Spanish Grand Prix that year, they didn't just dominate, they humiliated the rest of the field by nearly 49 seconds. That's almost an entire pit stop ahead, twice. Sure, there were a few off weekends here and there, but for most of that season, Mercedes was in a league of their own. And the reason behind that dominance? The power unit. Mercedes built an engine so advanced and efficient that no one else could touch them. They had more power, better energy recovery, and a reliability advantage that left rivals frustrated and fans either in awe or completely bored. That single breakthrough in engineering became the foundation of their success for the next 7 seasons, carrying them through championship after championship until Red Bull finally caught up in 2021. And even then, only after Honda poured a fortune into engine development. Ferrari came close toward the end of the 2010s, but as we now know, they had to push the rulebook to its limits with their fuel flow system to even get in the same ballpark. For many F1 fans, that Mercedes era is a mixed memory. If you supported Hamilton or Rosberg, it was a golden age. But for neutrals, it became predictable. Some even said it sucked the tension out of the sport. And that's exactly the kind of situation the FIA wants to avoid in the future, especially with the massive regulation changes coming in 2026. They've seen what happens when one team finds a golden formula early on, and they know how long it can take for everyone else to catch up. Now, I'm curious, what about you? Did you enjoy watching Mercedes dominate, or did it make the sport less exciting? Drop your answer in the comments. Yes, if you liked it. No, if you didn't. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to Fast News F1 and turn on notifications. Your subscription is really important to us. It helps us grow and get closer to our goal of 1,000 subscribers, so we can keep bringing you stories like this. When you look ahead to 2026, it's hard not to get excited or nervous about just how big the changes are going to be. This isn't just a small tweak to the rules or a new wing design. This is one of the most ambitious overhauls Formula One has seen in the past 50 years. The cars themselves are going to shrink smaller, lighter, and fitted with narrower tires. That alone will change the way drivers approach braking zones, corner entry, and even tire management during a race. But that's just the start. The aerodynamics rulebook is getting completely rewritten. We're talking more active aero elements, parts of the car that can move and adjust mid-race, not just for speed, but also to work in harmony with a new generation of power units. These engines will have a far larger electrical component than anything we've seen before, designed to work with revolutionary sustainable fuel that can be used in regular road cars without any modifications. If it works as intended, it's not just a step forward for F1, it's a leap forward for the entire automotive industry. For the teams, this is a once-in-a-career challenge. They're not just designing a new car, they're building an entirely new concept from the ground up. Every department, chassis, powertrain, aerodynamics, software has to coordinate perfectly. And with so many changes happening all at once, the margin for error is razor thin. Get it right, and a midfield team can suddenly find themselves fighting for wins. Get it wrong, and you might be staring at the back of the grid for an entire season with no quick way out. This unpredictability is part of what makes 2026 so thrilling to think about. The stakes are higher than ever. One innovation, one breakthrough that other teams miss could completely reshuffle the order. And yes, that could mean someone pulling a 2014 Mercedes and running away at the front. The FIA says they put safeguards in place to prevent that, but as history shows, teams are masters at finding an edge. Which team do you think will nail these changes the best? Could it be Red Bull again? Or maybe Ferrari finally gets everything right? Share your prediction in the comments. And if you're following every twist leading up to 2026, make sure to subscribe to Fast News F1. Help us reach 1,000 subscribers so we can keep bringing you all the inside details. The FIA insists that 2026 won't be a repeat of 2014, and they're pretty confident about it. Nicholas Tombazis, the FIA's single-seater director, has been clear. While there's always a risk of one team getting ahead early, the new engine rules are designed to limit how big the gap can be. The heart of their argument lies in the removal of the MGUH, one of the most complex and controversial pieces of technology in F1's turbo hybrid era. If you're not familiar, the MGUH was a heat energy recovery system connected to the turbocharger shaft. In simple terms, it took exhaust gases and used them to spin a turbine, creating electrical energy that could be stored in a battery or sent straight to the power unit for an instant boost. It was an incredible piece of engineering, but also insanely expensive, and way too complicated to make sense for road cars. The teams that perfected it, like Mercedes, had a huge advantage and they kept it for years. By removing the MGUH, the FIA hopes to simplify things and narrow performance differences. Tom Bazies admits they couldn't make the engines as simple as they wanted. There was pushback from manufacturers, but these new power units will still be less complex than what we've had since 2014. No more ultra-sensitive, million-dollar turbo wizardry deciding championships. That doesn't mean someone can't still get an early advantage. F1 engineers are some of the smartest problem solvers on the planet, and if there's a tiny loophole or clever interpretation of the rules, you can bet they'll find it. But the FIA says the performance gaps won't be as massive as the Mercedes era. Even if a team does find something special, they've got a new backup plan to help the others catch up, and that's what we'll get into next. So, what do you think? Will losing the MGUH really make things closer, or will we still see one team streak ahead? I'd love to hear your take in the comments. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, give the video a like. It's one of the easiest ways to help us grow Fast News F1 and get closer to our goal of 1,000 subscribers. One of the FIA's biggest tools to stop another long-term domination is something called Additional Development Opportunities, or ADO for short. This system is built into the 2026 rules to make sure that if a power unit falls behind, it doesn't stay behind for the entire regulation cycle. In the past, like during the early hybrid era, if your engine wasn't competitive, you had to throw mountains of money and time at it just to catch up, and that's if you even could. Now, with the cost cap in place, that kind of endless spending isn't an option. Without a safety net, a team could be stuck at the back for years. Here's how ADO works. After the first 5 races of each season, the FIA will measure the performance of every power unit. If your engine is more than 3% down on the best one, you'll be given extra tools to close the gap: more dyno testing time, more development budget, and in some cases, even the chance to homologate a new engine mid-season. That last point is huge, because normally engines are frozen under the rules to stop constant spending wars. To put that 3% into perspective, Alpine's engine deficit in recent years was estimated to be around 2–3% compared to the rest of the grid, and it was a serious handicap. With ADO in place, a gap like that would trigger the extra help needed to fight back. Now, if you follow other motorsport series like the World Endurance Championship, you might be thinking this sounds like balance of performance rules, where cars get weight or power changes to keep the racing close. The FIA has been quick to shut that comparison down. ADO isn't about handicapping the fastest team, it's about helping the slowest one catch up, and the rules remain exactly the same for everyone. No one's getting extra fuel or engine size, they're just getting more opportunities to improve under the cost cap. Do you think that's fair? Should struggling teams get that lifeline, or should F1 be pure survival of the fittest? Drop your answer below, and remember, subscribing to Fast News F1 helps us keep covering these changes in detail and reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So, with all these changes, the smaller cars, the simpler engines, the removal of the MGUH, and the ADO safety net, you might think the FIA has finally found the magic formula to keep Formula One competitive for everyone. And on paper, it does sound promising. No team should be able to lock in a massive advantage and hold it for 7 straight seasons, like Mercedes did in the early hybrid era. But if there's one thing we've learned about F1, it's that the sport loves to surprise us. Whenever new regulations arrive, there's always that possibility that a team will spot something no one else has. Sometimes it's a clever aerodynamic trick. Sometimes it's an engine innovation that's just within the rules. Sometimes it's a combination of factors that just work perfectly together. That's part of what makes regulation changes so exciting. They can shake up the order in ways no one expects. The FIA says they prepared for that scenario. The cost cap keeps spending in check. The ADO system gives underperforming teams a way to catch up. And the simpler, more sustainable engines are meant to stop massive performance gaps from appearing in the first place. But even with all that, it's hard to guarantee total equality. This is Formula One. After all, the teams are competitive by nature, and they'll push every boundary they can to get ahead. Maybe we'll see a close battle between 3 or 4 teams every race weekend. Maybe someone will still find that golden edge and dominate the early years of 2026. The truth is, we won't know until the lights go out for the first race of the new era. So, what do you think? Will these 2026 rules really stop another era of dominance, or is history bound to repeat itself? Share your thoughts in the comments, I'll be reading them. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Fast News F1 and help us reach our 1,000 subscriber goals so we can keep bringing you the latest on every big F1 story.